from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, James, Josh, Kramer, AJ, Bryan, and the one and only Churk Bezerk get together to discuss a wide variety of topics across the sports world. During these discussions, we let our opinions fly with a dash of comedy. And now, here's your show. So, what's the catch? There we go.
All right, we are here.
Yes,
so
we
what's
are.
the catch has finally arrived. Miguel Eladio had just hit another home run in that baseball game that we were listening to that was from about a year and a half ago.
Maybe even 3 years ago.
But it's okay, we're here now. You are here, we are in, it's the first week in November. So
Here now.
happy November, Josh.
Yes, happy November to you as well, Bryan, and our fellow producer.
Churk, we got Churk in the Berserk box. What's up, Churk? Happy November, brother. So this is a very...
I feel like the Browns could do it, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. First, we want to, quick shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out to my guy, James Mastrucci. I know he's not listening, but if he is, shout out. Hope you're enjoying your vacation. Anyway, our fearless leader, James, is not here with us today. He's on vacation. So we wanted to just give him a quick shout out. Hope he's having a good time down there. But yeah, Churk's going to fill in. He's going
Kramer might be here later on in the show.
Yes.
Kramer will be here on Kramer's time.
Yes, Kramer shows up on Kramer time.
Which is just fine. So we'll have Kramer joining us shortly. But
If he doesn't
It
show up,
works with the show.
right.
yes, if he doesn't show up, I have a few questions for a trivia segment, but not really. Like
We'll roll with the punches here. We'll see what happens. But we'd be remiss if we don't talk about the biggest thing in the sports world that happened last night.
Yep.
The Atlanta Braves
Yes, they
won
did.
the World Series.
Yep.
Josh, tell us a little bit about the game last night, the series as a whole. I know that you were rooting for the Braves.
Yes, I was rooting for the Braves. And going into this series, yep, and Kramer's
There
here
he
on
is.
Kramer time.
All right.
All right.
It's actually, we're only 3 minutes in. This is pretty
I
good.
told you I was going to try.
Yeah, no, this is better than usual.
I tried hard.
That's okay. We appreciate the extra effort on getting here.
We're just starting to talk about the World Series right now.
Right. So Josh was just about to tell us a little bit about the series. I know he was rooting hard for Atlanta, so we're going to let him talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, last night on our show, you were all stressed that Atlanta was going to lose. So
Yeah, because Atlanta's had Atlanta and really the state of Georgia recently has had this like curse on them where if they have a lead in a series or in a championship game,
You wouldn't be referring to a Super Bowl against the Tom Brady-led
I'm not just
Patriots, would you?
yeah, because that's not even a good example, honestly. If you're playing against Tom Brady, like
No, but
Yeah.
there's another example of it with the Georgia Bulldogs in the
Oh.
yeah.
I mean,
There's another
Or
parallel.
how about when they went to the Super Bowl against the Broncos?
all I know is I felt pretty good about the.
You remember that, Bryan?
Yeah, I remember that.
I felt pretty good about the Braves, and then looking at the score from last night, it looks like they whomped them.
Yeah, I got to eat crow here. I really thought the Astros were going to win this series. But, yeah, I mean, the Braves just – that team that they put together, man, ever since the injury
To Acuna, yeah.
to Acuna, it's just like James said it on last show, that might have been the best thing that could have happened to this Braves
They
organization.
wouldn't have gotten Eddie Rosario. They wouldn't have gotten Jorge Soler. They wouldn't have gotten so many of the other
Jock Peterson.
Yeah, Jock Peterson. Thank you.
Right, and he went full Jocktober
Right.
mode this year, so
Jocktober.
Yeah,
love
man.
that.
Dig it.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, like, just really impressive squad that they put together. They fought, and another thing, the All-Star game in Atlanta was taken away
Right.
too. So there's another
Right.
to add to your Georgia curse there.
But-
Try to give you a little support on that.
But like what I was saying with that is, the state of Georgia and Atlanta are like cursed for some reason. Like if you look at the NLCS last year, the Braves held a 3-1 series lead.
Right.
And the Dodgers were able to come all the way back to win that series. Or if you look at Super Bowl 51, yeah, that was against Tom Brady, but still, the Falcons held a 28-3 lead.
Yeah, that's bad.
Right.
That's all time
And
bad.
then if you look at that national championship between Georgia and Alabama, which was played in Atlanta,
Right.
but Georgia held a sizable lead in that game.
That was the Tua game.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they have had. I mean, see, but that's where we look at things a little differently. You say that the state is cursed. I say that the state has had an unbelievable success that has put them in a position to be in these games. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I feel bad that they didn't come out with the win, but I mean, they haven't exactly had a lack of winners there in the state for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got the #1 college football team, the World Series champs now. You know,
Right.
they're doing just fine down there. I don't think they're cursed.
it was a good World Series.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought it was going to be Houston in 6. It ended up being Atlanta in 6. But yeah, it was great. I mean, every game there was, at least one of the teams was hot.
Right.
This was just another situation for me where I just didn't really care all that much.
I'm with you.
Is that because the
Houston, with the situation with Houston and how I feel like they kind of did us dirty in the past. And
Yes.
if James was here, he would be like, oh, rah, 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 that was a long time ago. But still, for me, that was my reason for rooting for the Braves.
Sure.
But aside from that, I didn't care.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. Do you think this was, I'm not going to say the most scrutinized World Series, but because I'm sure there have been World Series that have been scrutinized more. But do you think this is one of the more scrutinized World Series because of the two teams in it?
Yes, because of Houston. No, because of Atlanta. I don't think there's much of a story there beyond they're without their star player. I like you look at some of the World Series matchups in the past, like the Yankees and Mets. Like, come on, that's way more scrutinized.
So the reason I'm saying
there's some that are really hyper scrutinized. This one because of the Houston Asterisks. Yes, I think.
You're calling me asterisk.
Yeah, I mean that you got to put one next to that here.
Aside from the usual, World Series coverage, I don't feel like there was that many people talking about it outside.
I didn't
of
feel. I'm a baseball guy, so I'm always going to be following the World Series. But I didn't hear the normal buzz from my sports friends.
Right.
And let me ask you guys a question too. See, I'm as far as baseball goes, I know a lot about the Indians, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Braves, at least in my memory, back in the '90s, they were like a perennially good team.
Yeah.
Is that still the case with them? Are they like one of these teams?
They've won 4 straight division titles.
Yep, they're back.
So really, this was just another situation where it was two teams that were. This was a predictable World Series.
No.
I think so.
It sounds like it because
I predicted half of it.
Houston's been winning for years.
I'm an absolute imbecile, and I got the Houston Astros right.
Right. But the Braves only got 88 wins. They were underdogs against
Okay.
the
Yeah.
I mean, there's that fact, but we've been shown before that once you get into the playoffs, that doesn't necessarily matter.
But they were underdogs in their first round.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that there was much buzz surrounding this World Series outside of the baseball community.
Here's why I'm saying there was scrutiny. Because, the Indians were forced to change their name. The Washington, you know what.
Yeah,
We're
I
forced to
know.
change.
You're going to mention the Braves and that, but I just don't.
I'm not saying the Braves should change their name or anything like that.
Well, they actually have a different situation there, too. I was reading the other day, something I didn't really know was that they have a good relationship with an Indian tribe. Mm-hmm. And, that's something the Cleveland Indians or, the team in Washington, they probably could have done themselves.
Right.
And maybe, it's all about inclusivity. If you can bring people in, then it stops being such an issue.
Right.
I feel like.
Plus, brave is, that's a very, it's a kind term. It's a very noble, it's
derogative stereotype.
Right, it's a positive thing. We're showing the community in a positive light, which is not what the other organizations
And
appear
again,
to be
I'm
doing.
not suggesting that Atlanta should change their name or anything like that. I just thought, given the political environment with Washington changing their name, the Indians changing their name, and other companies and stuff getting scrutinized and changing either names or symbols.
It's common now. Facebook's going through it right now.
Right.
So I get what you're going with it.
Facebook's going through it because they just dropped millions of dollars in their stock.
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't it called Meta now?
Yeah, well, Facebook is still Facebook. It's just Meta's the name of the parent company.
Right.
Right.
This would be better for our other show. But anyways, all I'm saying is
we digress.
That I see where you're going, but I haven't even heard of that being an issue.
Yeah, I haven't.
It doesn't seem to be an issue with the Braves.
And I think it's because, like I said, it's a different situation. They've have public relations teams that go out and work with tribes out there in Atlanta and make sure that they're okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just from a casual viewer's perspective, this didn't seem very hyper-scrutinized to me. Beyond the Astros cheating scandal, that's the only thing I really saw people talking about.
So, I think... What do you think? Does this say more about the Braves, or does it say more about Houston?
The Braves, in my opinion. You got to give credit to the team for winning. You know, I hate when a team like Atlanta does what they do and they win, and as an underdog story like you're saying, and then we take away from it by saying, yeah, well, really it's just that Houston blew it, you know. Like, no, I think the Braves deserve a lot of credit in this situation. Did Houston end up laying an egg in a couple of these games with one of the best lineups in the major leagues? Yes. So, yeah, like...
They got shut out twice in this series.
Which is, I did not see that coming. I would not have put money on them getting shut out once this series, to be completely honest.
I wouldn't have either, but at the same time, baseball in general is trending towards that, where pitchers are becoming more and more dominant.
You're 100% correct. So, yeah, I think this is more so the Braves won it than the Astros lost it.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, the two trends continued with this World Series. First, there hasn't been a sweep in the World Series since 2012.
Right, thank God.
And second, the winning team hasn't won the World Series at home.
They've won it on the road
since 2013.
2012 was a rough year for me. Who swept who?
The Giants swept the Tigers.
Tigers, yeah.
Right.
But
anyway, we're up against commercial break.
Yeah, so we got to hit a commercial, but congrats again to the Atlanta Braves.
We got big Browns news coming up, so stick around.
Coats for Kids Cleveland has raised over $3.2 million and distributed over 500,000 coats in Northeast Ohio since opening in 1981. Our goal for 2013 is to obtain 25,000 new or gently used coats and raise $125,000 to purchase more coats. We need your help. Your gift of $100 will provide 6 new coats to children in need. Check out our website at coatsforkidscleveland.org for a list of collection locations or to make a donation. Coats for Kids Cleveland, helping to make every child feel warm this winter season.
There it is.
5900. We are located at 988.
Would you trade $10 to get almost $10,000 in gift cards redeemable at hundreds of places around town? Of course you would. And how incredible would it be if a portion of that $10 was used to support some amazing nonprofits? Nonprofits like Awakening Angels, Beautiful Faces, Easter Seals. These nonprofits and more. You get to save money and nurture your community. Join us today at unitethiscity.com and embrace what makes our community different.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-778-1489. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-778-1489. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher for donating. Call now, 1-800-778-1489. That's 1-800-778-1489.
We feel a lot like Rodney Dangerfield because Cleveland gets no respect. Oh well, welcome back to So What's the Catch?
All right, we're talking about my favorite topic,
What?
the Browns.
Oh, okay.
right.
I thought you were going to say taco.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say taco.
Anyway, we're back. Thanks for joining us again here with So What's the Catch. We're going to launch
Speaking
into
of
it.
taco.
We are going to
What?
talk.
We're not speaking about taco.
No, we're not
Might
talking.
as well put him as the quarterback last week.
Oh,
Oh,
Christ.
God. All right. Well, we are talking about Steelers at Browns and that. How do I put this?
Was it a game?
It was a game. You know what? Look, it was disappointing, but now that a couple days later I can kind of look back at it, it wasn't our worst loss ever to Pittsburgh. It hurt more because we should have been better.
I
Right.
agree with you there.
Hurt more because Baker.
Okay.
I don't even think it was all Baker's
Yeah,
fault. I mean,
I-
Baker made some mistakes,
Right.
but there were nobody played up to their potential in that
You know how
game.
many
No,
times
that was a
OBJ
bad game all
was
around.
Oh,
Well, that's
so
another
you're really
discussion.
going to go into OBJ right now?
Yeah,
All right. Well,
Just what are your thoughts, Josh? Calm down. What are your thoughts?
okay. People are putting this loss on Baker because he overthrew receivers or
He's got a torn labrum.
he underthrew receivers, whatever. But some of the passes he threw, the receivers could have easily caught them, whether it was Jarvis or Odell, Austin Hooper. I'm not letting anyone
There
off
were
the
a lot of drop balls.
Yeah, a lot of drops that game. I mean, this
And I-
wasn't a typical bad Baker day as much as it was just a bad Browns day all
And
around.
Baker had some drive. Like, you could see it in that last drive, like when he ran for that first down.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah,
he
it was great.
He was pumped, you know, and it's the team. Baker was not good either, okay? So I don't want to, say Baker had his best game ever, but
Right.
he played a good enough game to win.
And at least he looked engaged.
Yeah.
But here's,
You know, I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
now with things that are happening, surrounding OBJ right now, at least Baker looked like he was still trying to lead the team, and he was very into the game, and he still wanted to win badly. And I don't know. I'm not saying he had a great game. I just don't think this was a typical bad Baker performance as much as it was. Look, the whole team had a bad game. Receivers dropped some passes that hit them in both of their hands. You can make an argument with some of those guys that if it hits one of their hands, they should catch it. They catch them out of the jugs machine with one hand. So
and Jarvis doesn't fumble.
Right, and these are three of the most sure-handed receivers, Hooper and Landry and OBJ. These aren't guys that drop balls either, and they were dropping balls that were hitting them in the hands. So
And any one of those big plays could have totally changed that
100%. Any one of those games would, you could argue, and if one of those plays out of all of them went the right way, we won that game. Because
Right.
that's a touchdown,
The
100%.
The most frustrating part about this is the defense only gave up 15 points.
Right.
That should be enough to win.
For me, the frustration comes from the fact that we had 2 wins against the Steelers, right? And we were starting to change that narrative.
Yep.
And now we lost, right? And the Steelers fans have this whole we can make fun of you again, and it's back to, you're the little brother of the
Browns
AFC
being
North.
the Browns.
But here's the thing, the Steelers didn't win that game.
No, they
The
didn't.
Browns lost.
The Browns lost that game.
But
100%.
on that note, Big Ben is now 24-2-1
That's just
against the Browns.
Absolutely incredible.
24-2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
The only player with more wins in Cleveland Browns Stadium at quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I know. And
That's a crazy stat. He has more touchdowns at Cleveland Browns Stadium than any other quarterback in the current organization.
That only became true fairly recent. So
Right,
For
yeah.
the longest time, he was the top scorer.
Right.
What does that say about Browns QB bars? Just the bar.
It's
That
not
is
set very
low.
high.
For
it's
me,
a low bar.
For me, it says something about something I've been trying to bring up over and over again, which is Baker is not Patrick Mahomes. Baker is not, an elite quarterback. But without Baker, what do we have?
Right.
Because look at what we've had.
Yeah, I have this conversation a lot. I'm not going to talk about Michigan right now, but it's the same thing like with Harbaugh. It's like, what's the alternative, you know? Who's better than him that can lead this team? You know, so if you want to have the conversation about Baker, you better come up with an alternative, you know, because as of right now, we don't have one.
I'm not sure that Case Keenum wins that game.
No, I don't think Case wins that game. I think that those receivers still drop those passes.
Right. Will be a JOK in the game?
I don't know.
Could have, should have, would have.
Could have, should have, would have. But the defense played good, though. If the defense had a bad game, then yeah, Churk. But the defense had a great. They really had a great game.
They had trouble stuffing the run.
The only pushback I will give you about Case Keenum is maybe this is due to his injury, but I'm not gonna say injuries were the reason. But maybe some of the passes that Baker Mayfield had that were off target. Maybe if Case Keenum is in there, maybe those passes are on target.
I mean, maybe not. Keenum's not.
He's not the best.
No,
he didn't have a great performance in his last game. That they didn't. Granted, it was a win, but like still, he didn't have a great game.
I'm fine with saying Baker didn't play his best game, but I feel like the more you try to heap on him, it's taking a lot of the pressure off other players.
Right,
and
there
people
are
who
way
are
more
making
issues.
mistakes.
There's way more issues on this team right now than Baker Mayfield.
There's conditioning issues.
Yeah.
There's coaching issues.
Yeah.
Wait, what you got over there, Churk?
On a positive note, Dearness Johnson can ball.
Dearness Johnson can ball, but that comes back to exactly one of the things I'm thinking, which is where was the coaching in this game? Where was the strategy? Because
I think Freddie Kitchens wanted to take over for another day.
Well, obviously Nick Chubb was getting his run stuff. Nick Chubb was not getting his runs off yesterday or Sunday.
True.
But Dearness Johnson was the few times you had him out there. Why didn't you utilize him more?
Here's my and to continue on that, in the first half, the run game was working for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the second half,
they abandoned it.
They pretty much abandoned it and went, okay, we're just going to come out passing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand why they diverted from our strength against the Steelers. You'd think that that's a team you want to stick to the game plan against.
We're going to pound the ball on you, try and stop us.
Right. We imposed our will on them in that playoff game. That's what we did. We imposed our will on them, and that did not happen.
Who is it making those decisions, though?
That's a good question.
I think the problem is...
You think it's
Stefanski.
It's got to be, right?
He's the play caller.
It could be Kitchens' spirit coming out.
Jeez,
Churk. But here's my...
You don't think?
Here's my problem. Why have an offensive coordinator if you're not going to allow him to call plays?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I feel like with the year we had last year and Stefanski getting rookie coach of the year, maybe we haven't wanted to put the spotlight on him so much because he almost kind of felt untouchable coming into this year.
I agree.
He had been such an icon last year.
Like he was on such a pedestal.
Yeah, and now I'm starting to wonder, is this guy... like I said, I don't feel like this is all on Baker, and then it makes me wonder where it is, and I think it's spread out. It's not real easy. It's not easy to say it's just this or that.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on any one thing, but with what's going on right now, there are clearly issues in this locker room.
Yeah.
And if there's issues in the locker room, that stems from bad leadership, just flat out.
Maybe Stefanski, I don't want to say this, and I'm not trying to indicate that we should fire Kevin Stefanski or anything like that, but maybe he isn't the offensive genius that we all thought he was.
I just think maybe it's time to start trying some different things.
I agree.
Period.
Yeah, I agree.
From top to bottom. And I saw a quote or a tweet where somebody was showing tweets throughout the year. We've had strength and conditioning issues for years now.
Yeah.
Where we've had these soft tissue injuries going on from 2015 till now, nonstop. And every year we say we got these new strength and conditioning coaches, we're going to fix it, and it's never getting fixed. And these injuries continue to pile up, and it kills us.
You're right about that, 100%.
As much as I love old school football and being outside in the snow and in the elements, it makes me really want Cleveland to build an indoor stadium just so these guys don't have to be exposed to the elements like they are. Because
we can have a Super Bowl here.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I like that.
No, but can I please make my point?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Was that anyway? I lost my train.
No, you were talking about the strength and conditioning.
Yeah, right. I agree with Jeremy. There's clearly an issue there, and when you're playing in the elements like you are, it exposes that in a way that you wouldn't get exposed if you're in a 75-degree stadium, you know?
That's a good point.
Because if you're outside against, you know, with the Lake Erie winds coming off that lake, and you don't stretch properly, and you're not conditioned properly, you're going to get these injuries, and it seems like these injuries are happening at home.
And that was the point the tweet was making, actually, was that First Energy Field has way more injuries than we ever do them when we go on the road.
Correct, yes.
And you made a good point there on why that may be.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean,
We are a grass field. That's the weird part.
We're talking more about the weather. The elements, more than we're talking about the condition of the field.
Right.
So this is what I was thinking on the ride up here. I always kind of ponder things on the ride up here. Does this feel like, we've all said that college basketball last year was a fluke. Mm-hmm. Does this start to feel like maybe last year for the Browns was a fluke?
Oof.
Because that's how I'm starting to feel, in my gut.
Yeah, it's so hard to answer that question, and I'll tell you why.
No.
I'll tell you why.
We'll get to you, Churk. I want to know your answer too, but go ahead.
Back in 2019, we hired Freddie Kitchens as our head coach. We made all these additions. We acquired Odell Beckham. We made countless other additions. And we had high expectations, similar high expectations to what we have this season. Mm-hmm. And we ended up going 6-10. We went 2-2 on primetime games. We went 0-4 against the NFC West, 3-3 against the division. Mm-hmm. 3-1 against the AFC East, and 0-2 against the third-place teams, Tennessee and Denver. So that you add all that up, it's a 6-10 record.
Yeah.
So that's failed expectations.
I'm gonna say yes and no. No, because it's the NFL, and I still think it's the hardest league in the world to win in. You can't really fake. You can't fake success much in the NFL like you can in basketball in a short number of games. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I do think that there's something there to maybe did we overrate some players? Did we overrate some coaches? I think we certainly did, and yeah, I think that that's being exposed now. Is that the bounces aren't going our way, whereas last year it seemed like all of the bounces were going our way, and now that they're not going our way, it's oh wait, maybe this isn't the golden goose that we thought it was, you know?
I completely understand that. And with the pandemic, I felt more with players sitting out and not getting the usual routine, maybe that's some things up.
Yeah, that's
Churk,
a good point.
You want to take us out, though?
Yeah, you had a point.
No, I don't think it was a fluke before we go. The Browns, I think, just had one hell of a season last season, but with that, we have a commercial break. So
take us to commercial land.
We got more Browns coming up next, so stick around.
I'll see you guys in a minute.
Hey guys, bow season's right around the corner, so get out to PJ's Custom Archery and Lapidary Shop. PJ's make custom bows to fit anyone. They also make takedown survival bows and flint knives as well. Ladies, PJ has custom-made jewelry. You'll find unique, one-of-a-kind bracelets, pendants, earrings, and much more. PJ is a real craftsman with an artistic lair. PJ only uses materials found or made in the USA. So hurry out to PJ's Custom Archery and Lapidary Shop, located at 112 Leonard Street in South Amherst, or call 440-986-0490.
At risk of losing your home in a foreclosure? We can help. We'll deal with your bank, reduce your payments, lower your principal, improve your credit rating. We'll buy you a pony, give you the ability to fly. We'll let you pilot a blimp. We'll bring your childhood cat back from the dead. We'll name a comet after you. We'll let you ride a unicorn. We'll carve your name into the moon with lasers. We'll arrange a meet and greet with Santa Claus. We'll give you a treat.
If you're facing foreclosure, there are a lot of companies promising to help you. All of the information can be really confusing. But who should you trust? The Hope Hotline. The Hope Hotline is a free resource connecting you with HUD-approved housing counseling agencies available 24 hours a day who understand your situation. Since 2007, they've helped over 5 million people get the clarity and information they need. Call the Hope Hotline at 888-995-HOPE. That's 888-995-4673. Brought to you by NeighborWorks America and the Ad Council.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. If you stack their desks one atop the other, it's a pile more than 17,000 feet high. That's 12 Empire State Buildings. But what's truly scary is that another stack is going up tomorrow. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
You've never experienced anything like this before. From insight to comedy to whatever Churk Bezerk is doing. This is So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
All right.
We are back.
It wasn't a fluke.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to keep talking about the Browns.
Could have won the Super Bowl that season when they almost beat the Chiefs.
All right.
On that note, I have talked to so many people about this. If they all say if Patrick Mahomes doesn't get injured, the Browns would have probably lost by like 20 in that game.
Oh, there's so many could have, should have.
Should have, would have.
If we would have won that game, I mean, Churks might be right. We might have won.
I mean, we had,
but that was probably the only year that.
We also almost had the dream. We were so close to the dream AFC Championship in the Bills versus the Browns.
Yeah, that would
have been sweet. Game. Yeah, I would have loved that game.
Anyway, we have some Browns drama to talk about.
We do.
You want to take this one, Bryan?
Sure. So OBJ was asked to step away from practice today. Yeah, the trade deadline came and went, and we didn't trade him anywhere. But it appears today that Andrew Berry and OBJ's agent are negotiating a settlement, which is language I don't really understand, to be completely honest with you.
I think it's like a waiver. Like they release him, and then someone else picks up his contract.
It sounds to me like they're gonna pay him to go away when they could have traded him for something valuable.
Right.
That's just the way that I'm perceiving this. I know that there's some salary cap reasons that cutting him would be beneficial as opposed to trading him, but I'm not smart enough to really understand all that stuff.
You're not smarticles enough?
No, I'm not.
There's the magic word.
I am not on the accounting or business side of the sports world at all. I don't claim to understand that, but me and Jeremy, we're kind of on the same page with, like, if you're going to let him go, why not trade him? Because I think we could have got something for him.
Yeah.
I mean, like a first-day draft pick, first round, second round,
I don't
maybe?
think at this point he would have been worth a first-round draft pick, but I think he could have been. We could have traded him for like maybe a good player who's maybe like a good defensive safety that's like a maybe two-time Pro Bowler or something.
The New York Giants are probably laughing at us right now, like, yeah, now you see what we were going through.
We could have retraded him back for Jabril Peppers.
Yeah. Here's the thing about this Odell Beckham situation is that he hasn't exactly done or said anything wrong since he's been in Cleveland that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So, like, the arguments that, like, I agree, maybe it's not a right fit. The culture isn't right for him, but I'm not going to say that he's not right for the Browns. Like, I don't know.
I do agree that he hasn't said a lot, but sometimes I feel like he's said things by not saying something.
Okay, so you think he's just kind of like a sneak disser, like kind of the way that he says things, or...
And recently, like in the past couple of days, his dad was like going off, and
LeBron even posted stuff about
and the whole free OBJ hashtag that's been going on for weeks. Just the fact that he never took the time to say, like, you know what, this is my team, I want to play here, kind of speaks volumes to me.
Okay, that's That's a really good point. I mean, he has the ability to come out and say, like, hey, no, this isn't a me issue, you know? I'm doing my best. I'm working my hardest, you know? He's never once came out and held accountability for these drops or anything, you know? He seems very passive-aggressive, and it almost seems to me like he's got people doing his dirty work for him.
Yes, right. Sir. Here's my concern. Him and Jarvis Landry are like brothers now.
Yeah.
They went to LSU together. Now they're on the same team, at least for now. Over the past couple seasons, they've been on the same team. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
Once we inevitably cut Odell, because that seems like where we're headed.
He's not playing anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever happens, he's not going to be on the field for sure.
What kind of effect do you think that has on Jarvis? I think it could have a negative effect.
I mean, it might, but I feel like you have to have the idea of whatever happens, let the chips fall where they are. And like today, you have Odell excused from practice, and Jarvis is still out with a knee injury. So Baker's in there throwing right now to Rashard Higgins, People Jones, Schwartz, and JoJo Natson. Yeah. I mean, if it comes down to it, that's what we're going to have to work with, I guess.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's this season, like what I talked about with 2019. If you put sometimes my mouth gets ahead of my brain.
No, you're fine.
If you put expectations on the Browns, you know what they do?
Yeah, we have a saying in the recovery community that the lower your expectations are, the higher your serenity will be. And with the Cleveland Browns, man, that's certainly the case. And I think that's why we're all taking it so hard right now. Is like it's the first time in my lifetime that I really thought we had a chance going into the season. I really did. I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I thought for sure we were going to make some noise and have a chance to win the AFC.
For those same reasons, though, that's why I haven't completely given up on the season yet.
Yeah, and why should we? We're 4-4.
Yeah,
gosh, we still have how many games left?
And you never know with this team. Like we had all these expectations, right? And they came out and pretty much pooped on them.
Yeah.
But now, who knows? Like this is the kind of team that could push through the second half of the season and make a push.
And especially if guys get healthy, and if this team gets hot at the end of the season, that's when you want to get hot. You want to get hot when you're rolling into the postseason, and that's kind of what happened last year for us.
Yeah, we do have 17
Right,
games.
so there's still plenty of year left, and these guys are going to start coming back that are out, and the pieces are the puzzle will start to look a little more like it's supposed to. And as long as we hang on and get through this little bit of a rough stretch we're going through, and we can avoid the noise with all this OBJ stuff, but does anyone think that that's going to happen, though?
I hope.
This can't make anybody feel better about going into Cincinnati.
I don't feel better about. I don't know, man.
And speaking of Cincinnati, do you think Joe Burrows is going to try to get his revenge?
For what?
I mean, I think everybody always wants to win.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean.
For what?
What were you going to say, though, Jeremy?
I totally forgot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I
remember Baker had a great game and showed off possibly his potential.
What I was going to say is just, obviously Odell was a good receiver, or should have been a good receiver for us, and yeah, it sucks not having him. But one thing I do kind of feel good about is at least we've done something. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier of we need to make changes. Mm-hmm. And it was obviously an issue. I really wish we would have traded him. I don't understand why we didn't. But at least they're doing something.
Right.
I think it's because he's been injured and his value went.
They're addressing the issue.
Yeah. But I wrote an article about this on Dog Pound Daily through Fanside. Go check out this article.
Great article, Josh.
Thanks.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. It's really good.
But I think this game on Sunday in Cincinnati against our in-state rival is a turning point in the season. Because if we win this game, we're 5-4. We jump the Bengals in the standings, and we're right back in the division race.
Yeah, and especially with what's happening now with OBJ, like if they come out and make a statement win on the road in Cincinnati against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, like that could really start this thing moving in a positive direction finally. But if they lose,
you're 4-5, and I don't see. I can give you their remaining schedule. I completely have it memorized.
You're a freak.
Thanks.
You're an alien.
You are an alien.
Yeah. But go ahead.
What's
Make your point.
What's the rest of the schedule?
So the remaining schedule is at Cincinnati, at New England, home against Detroit, which
we'll get some respite there.
Yeah. And then at Baltimore on Sunday Night Football. Bye week. Home against Baltimore. Week 15. Home against the Raiders.
So back-to-back against Baltimore after a bye. Okay.
Baltimore, bye week, Baltimore.
Oof.
And then Raiders. At Green Bay on Christmas.
Wait, we're playing the Raiders twice?
No.
No. Ravens twice.
Okay. Ravens. Bye week, Ravens. Then the Raiders. Then at the Packers on Christmas. At Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football. Home against the Bengals.
I don't pay attention to the schedule all like that. My thing is more of the whole week by week, right? What game do we have next? What situation are we in?
Right.
And I totally agree with you, though, that this game is a make or break game for this team. Even like with the Odell situation, I think the way it's going to be reported and the way the opinion's going to go is really going to depend on how we play Sunday.
I agree.
If we come out Sunday and play really good, it's almost going to be like the storyline becomes maybe we are better without Odell.
Yep.
Yeah, we've heard that storyline before. We heard it last season when he got injured in the game at Cincinnati.
And now if you really believe that, you have time to prove it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or a chance to prove it.
If it's legit, go out and prove it.
But yeah, if they lose, then I got to start thinking maybe next year.
Which is the mentality, unfortunately, Browns fans have had to have for multiple seasons. Like, maybe it's next year.
Yeah, I refuse to give up on this team this early in the season just because it's my life as a Browns fan has been so hard and miserable that we're 4-4 right now. I'm grateful to have a team that's in the hunt, that still, has a chance to win their division. Like, there's a lot of good things to be excited about right now. It's just, can we overcome all of this nonsense that's surrounding the team and get through this little whatever we're going through right now? A lot of it has to do with injuries, but how much of it does have to do with this OBJ issue, and we might find that out on Sunday.
You just reminded me. I want to take this last 30 seconds to make two quick points, and the first one is that for the longest time with the Browns 1-15, 0-16, I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
And it got to where I would watch the games and I would root for them, but even one good play was something to be so excited about. And, now that they are back in my life and they are stressing me out so much, and I hate the fact that they have this effect on me.
I know.
Sunday, I was in a great mood. I worked for ESPN. It was a great day right up until the game, and I've been miserable ever since.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating they have that power over me. Second point, LeBron James. Shut up.
Thank you.
God, I hate that dude. He comes to Cleveland. He roots for the Browns. I'm starting to think, hey, at least he's showing a little hometown pride.
Right.
He does not root for a hometown team. He roots for this freaking Hollywood superstar player. He wants to see OBJ shine.
Was it Hollywood Higgins?
No, OBJ. He's rooting for OBJ basically to leave and go somewhere else and do what he did.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
All right.
Well, we are up against a break. So Churk, why don't you take us to commercial land?
He was cheering for Hollywood Higgins.
Go to commercial
Churk,
land.
please take us to commercial.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
Look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts.
You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Churk the Bezerker. You're in the Berserk box being a hard worker. We got James. Guess what? He knows all the names. Just sit back and relax. You got Unger to the max. This show will never get any lamer, because you can't find anybody as entertaining as Kramer. Now, AJ, he is the true fighter. You'll never meet anybody who is a better writer. In this show, you don't have to worry about lying, because we got a champ, and his name is Bryan. Join us every Wednesday at 2 for authentic personalities, because you know, all we'll just be dishing out is just the realities.
The vanilla chinchilla at his finest.
Churk Bezerk.
Yes, vanilla chinchilla, aka Churk Bezerk. But welcome back to So What's the Catch? It is November 3rd.
And LeBron was cheering on Hollywood Higgins.
Oh, right.
I would, honestly, if he was cheering on Hollywood Higgins, I'd be fine with it.
Even Higgins was liking on OBJ's dad's post.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, which that really confused me because that's Baker's guy, you know.
I don't understand any
No,
of it.
that's what doesn't make sense to me is like of all the people to not have his back, you would think Higgins would be the number one guy to have Baker's back, but nope.
That actually makes me kind of worried.
Yeah, it does.
Is he starting to lose the locker room?
Right, but we do need to talk a little bit about the Cavs. So Josh, why don't you bring it in for us?
They also have the same record as the
Right, I was just going to say that. An editor that I work with for another fan side page that I write for is King James Gospel. That's actually a Cleveland Cavaliers page. We just haven't changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, Browns 4-4. The world is burning. Cavs 4-4. GM is walking on air. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Didn't the GM just like make a statement about how they're grateful of every single game they win or something?
They should be.
Right.
But this will be my last statement about the Browns until the next segment or whatever.
No, go ahead.
And really, like, the point I keep making is 2 years ago, 4-4, we would have all been having a friggin' riot.
Yep.
100%. Yep.
Anyways.
Hey, the Cavs are 4-4, which I don't know about you, but I was not expecting them to be 4-4.
No, I don't know a lot about basketball. It's the sport I least like. I've said it a lot. But just from what everybody said, I expect them to be trash, and I think they'll still probably be trash, but it sounds like they at least got a good start.
Yeah.
They're missing one guy to only go.
Oh, my Lord.
I will say that I saw, and I was just trashing this dude, so his opinion, doesn't really matter all that much to me, but LeBron was saying something in an interview last week about how he thinks the Cavs right now have more talent than they ever did when he was on the team.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Talk about taking
that guy, man. Goodness gracious.
We just went 3-2 on a 5-game road trip where we went to Denver, played both Los Angeles teams at Phoenix, and then had to go all the way east to play Charlotte.
Right.
I think Evan Mobley, though, he's actually, I think, one of the best players on our team.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, he looks good. I think he looks great.
I still don't get why we played the 3 7-foot lineup.
Yeah.
The Tower City nickname, it's great, but...
What the funny thing about that lineup is not only do you have a tower of the forwards, but then you have undersized guards on top of it.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
It makes
so it's
sense.
kind of like the Danny DeVito and Arnold movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
You have 7-footers, and then you have it's like Muggsy Bogues with Manute Bol.
I love it.
Yeah.
If anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Jess, but as I'm staring right at this, I want to say that through so far, Mobley's averaging 13.6 points, 7.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and even without knowing a lot about basketball, I know that's good.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
For a rookie, it's great numbers, yeah.
Right. Do you think he could possibly win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, no.
No. I just see Anthony Edwards in my opinion.
Green.
No, he won Rookie of the Year last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Cade Cunningham is the rookie this year that was the number 1 pick, right?
Correct.
He's with the Pistons.
Correct.
Okay. I still think that I like him for. I confused him with the number 1 pick last year, but yeah, I still think that he's like going to be the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, just because like his numbers are going to be a lot flashier than Mobley's, I think, and that's the only reason I'm not ready to put him at Rookie of the Year status yet.
Here's my only pushback. I think you also have to take team success and teams' success record, however you want to say, into account. So let's say the Cavs somehow not necessarily make the playoffs. I'm not going to go that far, but let's say they get up to number 10 and are part of the play-in tournament, whereas the Pistons completely...
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think for MVP that's the case, but for Rookie of the Year, I don't think it matters at all.
When it comes to Rookie of the Year, I think if you're on a trash team, you're probably not going to win.
Really? I don't know. I always think they give Rookie of the Year to the person who just has the biggest numbers.
Yeah,
that's been my perception
I think
of
it's an overrated award a little bit.
But to get those numbers, I guess I get what you're saying. I feel like you have a better chance of making those numbers if you're on a good team.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I get that point. Unless you're a guy that's like, you're a number 1 option somewhere where you would have been a number 3 option elsewhere, but that's not the situation for Mobley. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. That's a good point.
I think Jalen Green, too. That guy has actually been surprising me.
Yeah.
That guy has a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clutch, too.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But, again, the Rockets are not very good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just... to me, Rookie of the Year shouldn't. I don't know. I don't think that the team success should matter all that much for that particular award.
He did.
And how did that turn out?
Yeah. I mean, we got the better end of that deal.
And
because we won a title.
I think, to me, the biggest surprise has been Jared Allen. But
what do you say?
Yeah, I like Jared Allen.
Yeah, I think he's been the biggest success or the biggest surprise to me so far.
Yeah.
I think that he's really shined in these first few games. I mean, he was shooting he was like 90% shooting through his first 3 games or something ridiculous. He's obviously cooled down a little bit. You can't sustain that level of success.
Exactly.
But his field goal percentage is still tremendous. He's scoring in the paint against some big guys. He's going up against guys like Jokic, and he's having some success. So I'm really pleased with what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it.
How do you feel about Sexton?
I'm not sure how to feel about Sexton.
I'm not either. I'm not sold on him completely yet.
I'm on the fence with him.
The AKA our version of Monte Ellis.
I could see a little
You guys
bit.
remember Monte Ellis?
Yeah, I remember Monte.
Yeah, I could see a little bit there with that comparison.
I guess I can see the comparison where you're going with it.
Right.
But maybe Michael Redd?
I think you're pushing it a little bit.
Yeah. Michael Redd was pretty dang good.
Michael Redd was a pretty good shooter.
Yeah.
I don't see Colin Sexton being a pretty good shooter right now.
Yeah.
37% last season.
I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but Lauri Markkanen. Yeah,
Lauri Markkanen.
I'm just seeing that he just got placed an hour ago in COVID protocols.
Oh, shoot.
Well,
that's not good news, especially with the Cavs schedule looking ahead.
That I think is good news because now we have more spacing.
That's probably going to bring Okoro into the starting lineup. So I'm not totally disappointed about that.
Yeah. My concern is they've only been playing 8 or 9 guys a game. We don't have a very deep team. There's not a lot of guys on the bench that they're giving playing time to, and they're going to start having to.
Right. I would like to. I like it when teams play a deep bench.
Me too. I think it's smart to keep guys fresh. You look at hockey, that's how they do it in hockey. They keep guys fresh.
Constant change.
There's something to that with some of the guys that may not be conditioned the best, especially with big guys like we've got. If you can use them in spurts when, and get them a rest and have somebody on the court who's at least competent, but they don't have anybody that they're willing to put in behind these guys.
Since Markkanen is not going to be playing soon, you know who could be called up from the G League?
Oh no! Don't say it.
Here we go.
Taco.
Maybe we could have some tacos fall.
Okay.
I like tacos.
I like tacos too.
You just don't like those jokes.
No.
No, that was a very corny joke.
Yeah.
Yes, I meant to make
corns in the tacos that fall.
Yes, I meant to make the pun there because you have corn tortillas.
I think Taco could be the real deal.
What do you mean he could be the real deal. What does that mean?
The real deal what?
Holyfield.
Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you think? Quantify that for us.
All right.
What could he do, productive-wise?
What can he do? For the first 5 minutes of the game, he scores us 10 points and gives us the momentum. And then we take him out because he's tired. And then...
He hasn't shown that he could score 10 points in a game, let alone in the first 5 minutes.
He helps out the offense.
He's not even on the Cavs right now. He's with the Cleveland Charge.
Yeah.
Canton Charge.
No. They're the Cleveland Charge.
And we've already said, this isn't a deep team either. So for the reason, so for him being in, with the Charge, it really shows that, this guy, there's a reason he's down there.
But they're wanting to polish up his skills so he can make the blocks.
Polish up his skills or get skills.
Yeah. But they're not called the Canton Charge anymore. They play at the Wolfstein Center now.
The problem with Taco, too, is he's not wearing the goggles.
Oh, so goggles were good.
The goggles make a difference.
Going back to what you were saying about conditioning, though, I think that's the reason I honestly don't like basketball. Because, playing sports, I've always been a big guy, and, I can play football, I can play baseball. Basketball, I could not play. That takes so much
of running.
Stamina.
Yeah.
And I do not have that kind of stamina.
I love that you were pounding on the table.
Yes, because I'm very emphatic.
No, I agree with you, too. And when you're playing 3 7-footers, these are guys that are notoriously poorly conditioned, it's not a sustainable, I just don't think this is a blueprint for success. I think we're having some early success with it, but I just don't think it's going to last. I really don't.
Prove them wrong, Cavs.
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Cavs do, get a 10 seed or whatever. But
I think it's also that, I said this a few times, but why are we doing it when that's not the way the NBA is going?
Because we do what we want.
Because we do what we want. No. Yeah, I think that it's just a lack of... I don't know. It just seems to me like ownership maybe not be that concerned with winning.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
Because some of the moves that they've made have been so puzzling, and you keep waiting for them to do one that makes sense, and then they do another one like Taco Fall, and it's like, when are they going to make one move that at least makes some basketball sense?
Or get Ricky Rubio and overhaul the guard.
I honestly think it's going to take a really big Cavs fans coming together and saying, hey, this team stinks, we're not going. Because until they start losing money, I don't think that they're going to take winning series.
Well, we got to hit a commercial break, but when we come back, we are talking UFC 268.
And I just want to point out, those owners care more about their sales than they do wins.
Some of them.
And
take us to commercial land, Churk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear, filling in for Smokey on his birthday, because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Just look at the news. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless. And I'm not just talking about obvious things like campfires or letting your totally sweet nephew, Francis, play with matches. I'm talking about dumping your used barbecue coals willy-nilly or parking your car on tall, dry grass. That can lead to poof. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. But listen, being a South Carolinian, I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous, deciduous, or new car scented. So if you love the outdoors like me, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention, because fire safety is always in season. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I knew something had to give. I was overweight, I didn't exercise, and my doctor told me I would most likely develop diabetes if something didn't change. Fortunately, I joined a program that helped me make healthier choices, like eating better and being more active. The YMCA's Diabetes Prevention Program was a wake-up call that really changed my life.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention predict that 1 in 3 Americans could have diabetes by the year 2050. The WISE 12-month lifestyle modification program is part of the CDC's National Diabetes Prevention Program, where the goal is to prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes. For those who qualify, the program is covered through United Healthcare and Medicare. To find where the program is available in Ohio, visit ymca.net/diabetes. Take control of your health. This message sponsored by the Ohio Department of Health, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
UFC, boxing, WWE, AEW, that can mean only one thing. It's time to discuss combat sports here on So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
Hour 2 on So What's the Catch is when things get weird. Here on All Sports Cleveland.
All right, we are back here at So What's the Catch. It is hour 2, so let's get weird.
Yeah. So let's talk UFC 268. I don't even want to talk about 267 because it was just
Meh. Yeah, I'm with you. There's not much to discuss there.
Congrats to Glover Teixeira. He won the light heavyweight title.
Yeah, dude's still doing it at an old age, and it's just very impressive.
Yeah.
But other than that, beyond that, it wasn't a very exciting card. I don't know. Nothing really caught my eye.
The bantamweight interim title fight was really good.
Mm-hmm. There was a couple of the fights ended up being better than advertised. I will say that. But as a whole, the card was underwhelming.
Right, and plus it was not actually a pay-per-view. It felt more like a UFC fight night.
Right, but fortunately, this one coming up, UFC 268, is a heater.
How long have I been talking about this pay-per-view?
I would say since we were on like UFC 265.
I mean, I've gone back and I've rewatched the first fight between Usman and Covington. I've watched like the lead up to that first fight.
Mm-hmm.
When you get two guys who are complete opposite ends of the spectrum,
yeah,
and they absolutely hate each other, it creates fireworks.
Yeah, this is the sport that you want to see that the most in. When it comes to combat sports, like there's something to it when the guys really dislike each other that it does add an extra element to the fight that you almost can't quantify it. You can't really explain it, but when the guys hate each other, it makes the fights better. I agree with you. That's something that like there's no statistic that you could use to prove, but it just seems like when you get these guys that really dislike each other, they're willing to really put on a show.
Right.
Because their egos are on the line as well.
Right, and I think that might have been, Colby is saying like, that was your best night and that was not my best night.
Right.
I think part of the reason, if it is true that was not Colby's best night, I think we'll find out more if that was true or not this Saturday.
Right.
But maybe the whole mind games and like his ego and all that played a major role in that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I think guys like him are easily drawn into the games that they shouldn't be engaging in, like staying on your feet when your strength is wrestling, for example.
They both are wrestlers, and
exactly.
There was not a single takedown.
Right, and part of that, to me, my perception is that's just ego. That's you saying that I can stand on my feet and beat you without using my best stuff, and to me, that is just cocky and arrogant, and it's not smart, but those guys are both willing to do that.
I think with that first fight, the reason you didn't get a takedown is because of the animosity and all the build-up. It's just like, okay, we're going to stand and trade and see who the better man is.
Yeah, I don't have this stat right in front of me, but I heard on Twitter something like Kamaru Usman's only been successfully taken down once in his entire career.
I've heard something so.
And then Colby wasn't far. His was only like 2 or 3. They're both like ridiculously low numbers for their entire career that they've been taken down. So some of that is too that they're both hesitant. They know that they're both great defenders of the takedown, as well as wrestling practitioners. So there's some reason for that. Maybe maybe a little hesitance. You don't want to shoot because you don't want to end up in a bad position against a guy like Usman, because it ends that quickly with a wrestler of his his quality.
I always usually stay quiet during this, but one thing I do know about UFC 268 that I am very excited about, because I do know media, is that Joe Rogan is returning.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
So,
The fights are, no, I'm glad that you said that.
I was excited about
Goldberg
that.
coming back too.
Yeah.
Or
Who?
Mike Goldberg, the other.
Mike Goldberg.
I don't know who Mike
He's
Goldberg
the other.
is.
He was the play-by-play. when
Nope,
Joe
it says he will be supported by the color commentary of Daniel Cormier and play-by-play from John Anik.
Yeah, John Anik. Yeah, I don't know who you're referring to.
Are you talking about Bruce Buffer?
No, Adam Goldberg. He was like the UFC play-by-play guy in like the early 2010s.
Yeah, I don't know who.
I just know that I love me some Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Even
No,
though
he makes everything
he's-
better.
He's kind of a dork in some ways, but I like him. And the last fight he did was the Conor McGregor fight, and that was the best meme ever.
Oh yeah,
So
that meme of his
great.
reaction
Yes.
at the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he definitely makes the fights better, and he's part of the UFC brand, And when they do these international fights, it always bums me out because I know that Rogan doesn't leave the country for this. He said that publicly on his show. I'm not doing it. I'm not
Oh, he's a busy dude.
Yeah, he's super busy, and he's a billionaire almost. So it's like,
Yeah.
Why would he? But yeah, I agree. When he's there, it feels more like a real UFC production.
And somebody else, Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, Bruce Buffer too.
Time.
It just makes the whole
that's
thing
not
better.
how he does it. He goes, "It's time."
All
Literally,
right.
that was pretty good. But
That wasn't
literally, the only time I've ever watched UFC has been to watch Joe Rogan talk.
Yeah. No, he's endlessly
fair.
entertaining, and it adds a different element. It makes it a little more comedic, and I really appreciate that about the UFC is that they're willing to let guys like him be funny.
Right. You know what's interesting about this card? You got Kamaru Usman, you got Rose Namajunas, and you got Justin Gaethje all on this card.
Right.
They all train with Trevor Whitman at ONX Sports.
Right.
So.
Did you say OMS?
No, ONX.
Oh.
Yeah, they train out of Ohio Media School. That makes
Right.
all
They all trained out of ONX. So what's your point there?
I just think that's really cool that all three of them are on the card.
Oh, and they're like the three main fights.
Right.
It does say a lot about.
But that could backfire. What if one of them loses? And then they have to go back to the lot. Let's say Justin Gaethje.
But none of them are fighting each other.
No, I know, but do you think that puts a seed of doubt in Trevor Whitman's mind, for example? Justin Gaethje, for example, lost. Am I doing things right for Rose?
I think you're going to overanalyzing a little bit. Would be my opinion. Do you get what I'm saying? No, not really. I wish I did, but I'm not really following what your point was.
All right, never mind.
I see where you're going. Is it an indictment on the camp if one of them loses? But no, I mean this is fighting. People win and lose all the time.
Right.
I don't think that there's really. If they were fighting each other, I think that there would be more of a narrative around that. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
For the casual UFC fighter, most people don't know what camps they were in or what have you. But yeah, I mean, could you lose some confidence if say 2 out of 3 of them lose? Then I could see what your point is. Does the leader of that camp start looking bad if they have a bad showing? That is what I think you were trying to say. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with you then on that. Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah, we got there eventually. I just had to kind of talk myself through the logic of it, and once I did, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes a little sense.
So, Colby versus Kamaru isn't the only rematch we have on the card.
No, we got the Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili fight is also a rematch.
Which I'm surprised they did an immediate rematch because Rose won that fight fairly quick.
Yeah, it was a first round knockout. So yeah,
head kick.
To me, I think it's just because it's they clearly are the 2 best strawweight fighters in the world. So it's who else are you going to have them fight, So I think that's why they were so quick to go to the rematch. But I get what you're saying. It's it wasn't really competitive,
Yeah.
So, but
no other strawweight contender has really emerged.
Right, and that's my point. That's why I think they were so quick to make this rematch. Is just because it was the best fight out there, and really nobody has earned the way above. I don't think anyone deserves a chance against Rose above Zhang Weili.
Right.
To me, nobody's earned that. If somebody had had a statement win recently in that division, then yeah, I think that there'd be a little bit of a discussion there. But
yeah,
no, I think that I think Zhang Weili is better than she showed in that first fight. So I think it might be closer than people think.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody's going to get finished, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to a judge's decision.
Yeah, I think sometimes with with the 115 pounders, like, they don't have the most power. Like, Rose connected on a kick to the head, like, that'll knock anybody out, obviously. But I don't know. I could see it going 3 rounds, but I agree. I think it's more likely that one of them connects, and it does end before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fight, other than the main event between Kamaru and Colby, which I don't think that fight's going to go to the judges' scorecards either. I think one of them is going down.
That one I would say more so than the Rose and Zhang fight.
Yeah.
I think for sure that's going to end in a KO.
Yeah, or a TKO.
Yeah, a stoppage or submission or something.
But obviously that's the fight I'm most excited about. But the other fight that people are saying is the people's main event, Gaethje against Chandler.
Yeah, that's a huge matchup too. It's the number 2 and number 4 contenders in that 155-pound division, which is pretty loaded. So for it being a 2 versus 4 matchup, it's not a 1 versus 2, but it's a loaded division. So this is a great matchup.
Right.
A lot of people are excited to see Gaethje return after being beat by Habib.
Yeah. I think the winner of this should be next for the title after we do Poirier versus Oliveira in the main event of UFC 269, where, sorry, Charles Oliveira, but I think Poirier is going to destroy him.
Yeah, I like Poirier in that fight, too. Yeah. But I think you're 100% correct. The winner of this fight fights the winner of that fight.
Yep.
I think that's and that's pretty exciting, when you look at these 4 fighters. The potential matchups are really cool there.
Yeah.
So it's just a great division. It's a great fight. This easily could have been the main event on, a fight night or something like that, but, they chose to have it as the 3rd event of the night, so...
Which I don't think that hurts it at all.
No, I don't think so either. I think that it's still a very highly anticipated fight. And this is, both of them are trying to make an argument that they're the number 1 contender,
Right.
So here they both have a shot to do it.
I would have to double check, but I think it's just going to be a 3-round fight.
It is, yeah. It's not a 5-rounder.
Yeah.
So just a 3-round fight.
I would love it if this was a 5-round fight. They did it once when Nate Diaz fought Leon Edwards. That was on a pay-per-view, but it was not the main event or anything.
Right. If it's not a title fight, it has to be the main event for them to go 5.
But I guess they made an exception because it was Nate Diaz.
Right, the BMF belt and stuff like that.
No, it was.
Or are you talking about the other?
I'm talking about his most recent fight against.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, I wish this Gaethje Chandler fight was 5 rounds.
Right. Yeah, I wish it was too, but I think we're going to get a good 3 rounds out of them. But we're going to have to go take another break. We're up against a commercial, so Churk, why don't you take us out?
Churk versus Jake Paul. Still make it happen.
Oh.
You don't have to wait for politicians to make Ohio a safer place for your kids. You don't have to wait for anybody. All you have to do is keep your eyes open and remember that bad railroad crossings kill good drivers. When you see a dangerous crossing or crossing signals that aren't working, go to angelsontrack.org and report it. So far, 28 dangerous crossings have had gates installed because of those reports, making Ohio a safer place for kids like yours. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by the OAB and this station.
Are you tired of renting, but the idea of owning a home seems unattainable? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency is here to help you realize the dream of home ownership with its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage loans, low interest rates, down payment assistance, and homebuyer education designed to prepare you for your journey to home ownership. Visit ohiohome.org or call 888-362-6432 to learn more. That's 888-362-6432. This message is brought to you by the Ohio Housing Finance Agency and aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Imagine me, a dog, moving in with a human. I didn't know how it would work. Turns out, my human's pretty entertaining. For instance, every time I give my human his ball, he throws it as far as he can. And I'm like, dude, that's your ball. So I go get it. But he just throws it. Again. I I gotta say, though, the more he does it, the funnier it is. I love my human.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
You wanted the best? Well, too bad. You're stuck with us. It's So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like that one. Good job, James. But welcome back to So What's the Catch? Again, it is Wednesday, November 3rd. Right now,
Hour 2.
It is hour 2 where things get weird. Right now, it is 15:15.
So, if things get
15-15.
weird, that means Taco Fall should be the quarterback for the Browns.
Okay.
Anyway.
In non-military time, it is 3:15. Sorry,
I gotcha.
Yeah, I have all my clocks in military time. It's just a thing for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, but we
like
are
Flavor Flav with the clocks.
but we are talking some NFL, and let's talk Henry Ruggs, the former Raiders receiver, because, oh my God.
Yeah. We broke this news yesterday. We were talking about it on our show. And what team is he from?
Raiders.
Yeah, he's the Raiders. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver who got in a drunk driving accident and he actually killed somebody. I was in prison 4 different times, and this is like a really common charge in there, manslaughter, DUIs, and the minimum I really seen people getting for it was like 7 years.
Yeah.
10 was more common. That was really like a common sentence for that. So it makes me think he's going to be doing some serious time.
Yeah.
And it also, for me, highlights the bigger issue of, alcoholism and addiction in pro sports.
Right, and there's another point that I just want to make real quick, Josh, before I forget about it. As it happened in the state of Nevada, and Nevada doesn't have an option for like probation or parole out of a DUI. Death caused by DUI. So some states, a powerful attorney and enough money might have gotten him some kind of deal worked out where he wouldn't have to serve time. Not going to happen in Nevada.
Yeah.
That's important to mention.
He was driving 156 miles per hour with a blood alcohol content twice Nevada's legal limit.
So that'd be 0.16. Yeah, not good.
The last person I heard have a similar story was Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was down in Florida, right, and he hit a pedestrian.
He was going that fast.
No, it was a pedestrian crossing the road, if I remember correctly. But he had something to drink the night before. It was early the next day, and he still had alcohol in his system. But yeah, it was an ugly situation. But yeah, this one's a little different, considering he was driving 153 miles an hour. I mean, it's just negligent in more ways than one.
Right, and he was driving under the influence, 156 miles per hour. Like, what are you doing?
He was drunk.
Yeah, he's drunk and he's young. 22. What? He's 22, right?
Yeah,
I think
22-year-old kid. He's still not. The frontal lobe still not even fully developed hardly by that time, and you add alcohol into the mix, and you add a bajillion dollars into the mix like he has, and all the spotlight into the mix, and it's sad, but these stories are going to continue to happen in leagues like the NFL. It's something that, unfortunately, every year it seems like we have something like this happens to an athlete every year. It seems like.
He was born in 1999, so
Jeez, 99.
It seems like that's actually only.
Yeah.
Oh, 99.
He's as old as the Cleveland Browns organization, the current in its current form.
Of course, we had to go there.
Yeah. But
he's only 22.
Yeah, 22.
You're right. Something like this happens almost every year, and the person gets punished, and it gets kind of swept under the rug, and we move on. But to me, it comes out to a bigger systemic issue of abuse of alcohol and drugs in pro sports. I think that being a pro athlete is obviously a very high-pressure job, and a lot of people end up self-medicating.
Yes.
And there's not enough awareness given to that, or enough opportunity for somebody to get help with it,
right,
without getting in any kind of trouble or having consequences.
It's still very taboo for an athlete to come out as being a person who is sober in a recovery community. Like CC Sabathia is one of the guys that recently has become very public about his battles with alcoholism. And I think that that's been great, but to the general public, it doesn't seem like there's a very like forgiving atmosphere towards athletes who struggle with addiction. When you look at guys like Josh Gordon, he just becomes the butt of every joke. He becomes a meme, and it's never like, this guy needs help. It's always, oh, look at this guy, he messed up again, and here's another meme. It's just like, we have to remember that these are human beings, they're young men, and they're exposed to things that a lot of us will never experience in our life. And yeah, Jeremy, I think you make a really good point. This is a systemic issue. They need to bring more attention to alcohol and drug abuse in professional sports. I agree.
You talk about this whole thing, and I'm going to bring it to wrestling just for a second. AEW star Jon Moxley, he's entering a rehab for alcohol addiction. So just wanted to bring that up. But
yeah. It's something that needs to be. They need to have something in place. Like, I feel like there has to be a league program or something that just
something anonymous. Something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how anonymous you can be, but something where you can go and not get in trouble. Go and say, I need help. I need a program, and you're not going to be suspended from the team.
And let's face it, like Jeremy, me and you, we can go to a meeting and we can be anonymous.
That's true.
But a guy like Henry Ruggs can't go into any meeting in Las Vegas and not. Everybody's going to know who he is.
Right.
It's hard. So like for them not to have some kind of program in place for these people where they can at least be anonymous, but like have support among their peers, because they don't have the opportunity to live in anonymous.
I think that would be hard to stay sober in that environment anyways.
Yeah,
like
100%.
It's a party environment, the team, the players, they go out and they bond by like going out to clubs together and going out to parties and bars and like.
Especially in a city like Vegas.
Yeah,
right.
That's a party city for sure.
Yeah, it's a problem, and we need more athletes to stand up for people who are recovering from substance abuse issues or people experiencing them who aren't recovering yet, that at least are given the opportunity down the road to get some help that they need. And a guy like Henry Ruggs, he may have been struggling with alcohol for a really long time, and we don't know this.
We don't know.
Also, it could be the first time he ever drank. I don't know. Could be the first time he picked up a beer and he happened to make a bad decision. I don't know.
Yeah.
The point of the matter is that there's no program in place in the NFL for guys like that right now where they can have a voice. I don't know. It just seems like there's a larger issue here than just a guy making a bad mistake. It seems to be more of a systemic issue.
That was my first train of thought whenever I saw this story. But then my second train of thought was also, why? It just seems like obviously like all around a really dumb decision. And why, if you're going out to party, like, why wouldn't you get a driver?
I know. These guys make so much money.
So much money. Uber's so like everywhere now. You don't need to drive yourself.
No, you really don't.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, there's people that go their whole lives without driver's license, and they do just fine. They get around fine,
Yeah. Right, I'm going through that right now.
Right, like it's okay to not drive. It's a privilege, not a right. You hear that all the time, whatever. But yeah, I agree, Jeremy. It's a good point.
Is this a guy who was actually like any good?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a young guy, he's a pretty good rookie year.
He could be hurting the Raiders.
It could, yeah.
For sure.
But
this is his second year.
He could fly. He's the guy that ran like a 4.27 40.
Yeah.
He was with Tua.
Yeah, I think it was part of the same draft class.
Rest in peace to the. What do you think is going to be the result of this after they the family? I think is definitely coming after him.
The victim?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that there's going to be civil suits that follow the criminal charges.
Yeah. He's going to end up in prison.
Yeah.
And then he's going to have millions of dollars settlement.
Yep.
And you were mentioning earlier the state he's in. We looked at it yesterday. He's facing a minimum of 2 years. So
minimum of 2 years.
It carries 2 to 20. The judges cannot give him less than 2 years in prison.
Correct. So he would have to be found innocent somehow.
Or plead out to something different.
Right.
But I don't see that happening in this case.
Not
like the facts
considering the circumstances.
How much money he got too.
Yeah, it's
it's
not a good situation.
No,
at all.
it's not. But another not good situation in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans. They're without Derrick Henry.
They made an interesting replacement too.
Adrian Peterson.
Right. So.
Right.
How'd they lose Henry?
He broke his foot. He's out pretty much for the remainder of the season. They're saying 6 to 10 weeks, but
Yeah, we're going to find out how much of that running game is Derrick Henry and how much of it is scheme and in the offensive line, you know.
We're going to find out how much of that offense overall is Derrick Henry.
Right, but
I feel like I've been seeing a lot about the Titans on Twitter this week, and I really didn't know why.
Yeah, I look at guys like Dearness Johnson coming in and having success, though, and I could see a guy like AP coming in and having success because they still have a great offensive line. They still have a great, you know, offense. So I don't see it being the end of the road for them necessarily, but I think it definitely destroys their Super Bowl chances.
Oh yeah, I think they're still going to win the division because they're 3 games clear of the Colts.
Right.
And the Jaguars and Texans, let's face it,
they stink. Yeah,
they're trash.
You could say it.
But I think that the loss of Derrick Henry could mean that when Tennessee gets to the playoffs, they could be one and done.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, you could be right.
I don't trust. I think Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if he's as good as we've seen. I think it's just because he's had Derrick Henry. So, like, as a fantasy owner, it put me in a tough spot because Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID, so I had to, bench him. And my backup quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. Well, he's going against a Rams defense that just got Von Miller. He doesn't have Derrick Henry, so I'm like, no, I don't trust him.
Right.
So I released him and I picked up Derek Carr.
Gotcha. That's a solid move.
Yeah, Derek Carr's playing the Giants.
Right. Yeah, I like that matchup a lot better.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Aaron Rodgers testing positive for COVID.
Yeah.
And he's going against the Chiefs.
Yeah, he was going against the Chiefs. He's been ruled out for that game.
Who's the backup?
Jordan Love.
Oh, yeah, that's
Jordan Love, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
That whole... What happens if Jordan Love plays well in that game?
Nothing. He's still Aaron Rodgers.
Does that...
Nothing.
No. I'm just saying, does that, like, with the whole off-season drama and, like, that whole situation, does that...
I don't think it changes anything, though.
No, I don't think so either.
It's still the
He's
exact
still
same
Aaron
situation.
Rodgers. Yeah.
What do you think, Churk?
Repeat the question.
If Jordan Love goes out and plays well against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, does that do you think that changes anything with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation in Green Bay?
Probably not until he retires.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too.
He's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's gonna keep playing until he's done, no matter how good his backup plays behind him.
Here's something crazy with the Aaron Rodgers situations, though, that I just realized. He is unvaccinated.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And it was a secret. Like, he had kind of he never said he was actually vaccinated, but there's a quote that goes all the way back to August where he says, in response to, are you going to get vaccinated? He said, yeah, I've been immunized. There's guys on the teams that haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal decision, and I'm not going to judge those guys.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's kind of weird that he basically lied.
Kind of, yeah. I saw that he submitted something to the league for a waiver for an alternative treatment, and they turned it down. So that's how this whole thing ended up getting exposed. So his vaccination status is now considered that he's unvaxxed.
Yeah.
So
I was just surprised by that.
Yeah. I think it changes the situation a lot, and
I think
it's
it'll be on after this year, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to go off into commercial land, but when we come back, we are talking college football.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. They're more efficient than the old bulbs, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. And they cut down on our energy costs. Because in our own groundbreaking age, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
At risk of losing your home in a foreclosure? We can help. We'll deal with your bank, reduce your payments, lower your principal, improve your credit rating. We'll buy you a pony, give you the ability to fly. We'll let you pilot a blimp. We'll bring your childhood cat back from the dead. We'll name a comet after you. We'll let you ride a unicorn. We'll carve your name into the moon with lasers. We'll arrange a meet and greet with Santa Claus. We'll give you a treat.
If you're facing foreclosure, there are a lot of companies promising to help you. All of the information can be really confusing. But who should you trust? The Hope Hotline. The Hope Hotline is a free resource connecting you with HUD-approved housing counseling agencies available 24 hours a day who understand your situation. Since 2007, they've helped over 5 million people get the clarity and information they need. Call the Hope Hotline at 888-995-HOPE. That's 888-995-4673. Brought to you by NeighborWorks America and the Ad Council.
Packers.
Vikings.
Red State.
Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But no matter how different we are, we're all connected, and we can all make a difference. That's why United Way brings people, expertise, and resources together to improve the education, income, and health of our communities, the building blocks for a better life. When we live united, our efforts, magnified by others, add up to real change. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly, so do our communities. But real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So let's look beyond our differences.
Live united.
One by one, let's make a difference. Let's reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all.
Live united.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Hey, yo, this is Kramer, the big man with the big mind, the big opinions, and the even bigger mouth. And you're tuning back in with So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of So What's the Catch?
How you said that, you sound like Scott Hall and NWO.
Word.
The New World Honor. But we are talking college football now, and it was not a good weekend of college football for me or Bryan.
It was great for me. I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
I think Churk and Jeremy had just fine weekends, but yeah, for half of the show right now. What
about, you want to go right to the playoff rankings?
Let's go.
Yeah, okay, so we'll just...
Sure, let's launch right into it. There's a lot to talk about there. Yeah.
So, the initial college football playoff rankings came out last night. The most surprising thing to me was not that Cincinnati was not in the top 4, because I kind of understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of gotten off the Cincinnati train a little bit.
I would hope so by now.
But Alabama being at number 2 was the most surprising thing for me.
I don't think so.
I
mean, they took that L.
The only thing that I would say is surprising is if they're 2 and not 1. Even with 1 loss, I still think they're the best team.
Cash cow. How can you not have Alabama?
But the thing is, Alabama lost to an unranked Texas A&M team.
Texas A&M is ranked now. I believe they're like 18 or something. They've had a couple good wins this year. It's not Texas A&M. It's not like they lost to a MAC team. You know what I mean? They lost to an SEC school that's recruits very well. You know,
right.
So at the end of the day, I don't think that loss is as bad as everybody's, pegging it to be. And they're still Alabama. They still have the most loaded roster from top to bottom of anyone in the country. They're so deep. I don't know. To me, it's not shocking to me that they're number 2. I could even see an argument being made for them to be ahead of Georgia, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. I think so.
So what was your most surprising, thing? What was your biggest takeaway from the college football playoff initial rankings last night?
I think that they're getting a lot right, is my takeaway. My takeaway is that they're actually putting teams in positions based off of them being the better team and not just all of these computer models and this and that. And it's to me it seems like there's more of going back to look, this team is the eye test. They talk about the eye test, and I think that a lot of this ranking was made based off of the eye test, and looking at a team's performances as a whole rather than just their win-loss record. And there's obviously a lot more to it. But
for me, it was more. I kind of disagree just a little bit, and I agree to disagree. I'm not, angry at it.
No, that's fine.
I feel like, for me, what happened was, I feel that the college football playoff rankings are exactly what we expected them to be, and that the group is going to judge and grade these teams the way they always have. Cincinnati is not going to make it into that top 4 no matter what they do.
No, they are not.
I'm a little surprised to see Michigan State up there, honestly, but they played well, so that actually kind of leads to what you were saying more than anything, Brian. But other than that, I feel like I see more of the same. Like with Ohio State landing at 5, and then Bama and Georgia. To me, it's just more of the same.
Yeah, it's still early too. Like
And
the first it's a good. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm not saying there's not a lot to talk about, but it's the first one. This isn't what the playoff is going to be at the end of the year.
Right.
So there's still things that can shake out. And things can change a lot in between now and the actual playoff. So I don't put as much stake into the first one as much as I do the last one. Obviously the last one's the one that matters. But yeah, I could see your perspective with what you're saying, Jeremy, that it does look like more of the same. From that perspective, it does. It looks like more of the same.
Where was Clemson at in the AP poll originally? The first AP poll. Anybody remember?
They were highly ranked.
Because it was up like 2 or 3, I thought. I thought it was top 4.
Like number 1 or number 2, something like that.
But it's crazy because now we see in this first CFP poll they're not even ranked.
Yeah.
Nope, not even on it.
There were a couple things that stood out to me. Wisconsin coming in at number 21, despite them being 5 and 3, so a 3-loss team being ranked.
Only 3-loss team on. So,
right.
Yeah.
That is shocking to me.
It's got to be about schedule then, right? I mean, who have they played?
Strength of schedule.
Yeah. There are actually 2 other things. Oklahoma being undefeated at 9-0, yet they come in at number 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's very surprising to me.
They've played basically nobody, and they haven't really had any impressive wins.
Right. I mean, they were trailing hapless Kansas at the half.
Right.
So
there's a lot of reasons that they're not in the top 4.
Right.
That's why I said I think they're getting it right, because it'd be easy to say this team's undefeated and they're a Big 12 team, so they're automatically in the top 4.
No.
And that's not what they're doing.
Right.
And that part made me happy, because that Oklahoma team there's a lot of question marks surrounding that team, and when they do play somebody, we'll learn more about that team. But as of right now, they haven't done anything to prove they're a top 4 team.
Oklahoma still has to play Iowa State, which Iowa State always plays them tough. They still have to play at Baylor. They still have Bedlam against Oklahoma State.
Even those 3 games, though, none of those scare me. None of those teams scare me.
But
it's not like they're playing Bama or Georgia or Oregon or Ohio State.
Right.
They're playing middle-of-the-road teams.
Right, but you bring up Oregon. That brings me to my third point, which is head-to-head mattered to this committee, because they have Oregon. For example, Oregon beat Ohio State early in the season, but Oregon, you could say, as of right now, Ohio State is the better team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But in the initial rankings, Oregon's ranked ahead.
Yeah, and like I said, it's early, and I think that the only reason that they're ranked ahead right now is because of that head-to-head victory. I don't think if they both remain 1-loss teams at the end of the year, I think that Ohio State can jump them by then. I think all that they're saying is that they haven't done enough to leap them yet.
Yeah,
that's what I think that they're trying to say there. But I think Ohio State, if they win out, they're 100% going to be ahead of Oregon.
Ohio State will get in.
Yeah.
I mean, if Alabama loses in the SEC championship game against Georgia, or if they lose somehow beforehand,
yeah,
I think Auburn could give them some trouble in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because all 3 of us kind of had some different opinions about the playoff rankings right now. So why don't we just do this? Obviously none of us are happy with the playoff. So what's the solution? Do you think they go? How many teams do you think they should go to if they go to more than 4?
I've continually said 8.
Yeah, I think 8 is a reasonable number.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that they're just going to forego that, and they're either going to go to 12 or
12 seems likely to me.
I think I heard on SportsCenter or on the college football playoff special on ESPN that that teams or leaders from across the country in various schools or conferences, something like that, are going to be meeting to discuss the possibility of going to a 12-team playoff.
Right. Here's why I like that, and it's because of a little bit of what you were talking about, Jeremy. When you said the thing about Cincinnati, no matter what they do, they're never going to be in it. And when you have a 12-team playoff, then that opens the door to having a automatic in for an undefeated team. You know what I mean? Like you could say, look, if you win every game, no matter what conference you're in, if you're in Division I, you win every game, you're going to get a spot. You're getting one of those at-large bids, flat out. That with 8 teams, you're still going to run into some of this, like all of the same things. Because if you look at Cincinnati right now, like, are you going to put them ahead of Ohio State? Are you going to put them ahead of Oregon? Are you going to put them ahead of Michigan State? And like they're not going to make the top 8 right now either. You know what I mean?
They come
for a
in
team
at
like
number 6.
Right. So they're barely making it now. By the end of the year, I don't think they're going to be in there. That's why, like, even though I think 12 is too many because it's not going to be competitive at the bottom, but whatever. The thing I do like about 12 though is that it ends the discussion about that. It's if you win all your games, there's no more like, yeah, we would have done this, we would have done that. Like, look, you're in the playoff. Here you go. You've got a spot. Maybe there's a 4-team play-in.
Yeah.
They do like a play-in. I don't know. However they decide to do it, but I think that's why 12 excites me, and I actually like 12.
I mean, some of this stuff right now is going to work itself out. Like, Ohio State still has to host Michigan State. Michigan still gets to host Ohio State at the end of the year. So, like,
Ohio State's in a typical position for themselves right now. They're in control of their own destiny. If they win out, they're gonna make it.
Yeah, Ohio State's in a typical position, and we're in a very fortunate position because we're actually in the same position.
Right.
True. If we win out, I'm not saying we're going to.
No, but
it's true though.
Yeah, if they win out, they will.
If they win out, they will be in the playoff, and that's saying a lot for a team that was 2-4 last year.
Well, I was even going to say that to you as well. That okay, so Michigan lost to Michigan State over the weekend. We haven't said that yet. It was obviously a bit of a bummer for you. But if you take that out of it as a fan, not thinking about that, if you had been told at the beginning of this year that by now, with the first rankings, you would have landed on 7, you'd be pretty surprised.
Not only surprised, I would tell you you're probably high and crazy.
Yeah. Which I am both.
No, but for real, yeah, you make a very good point, and I actually didn't get to watch the game live because Josh and I were at the Aviators practice, so we were actually we were working on Saturday, so I'm glad I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, probably good.
It would have really, really hurt me to see that game play out the way that I read it played out.
Oh, it was bad.
So, that's why I didn't come in here hanging my head as low as I usually would off a loss like that, because I didn't watch it. I'll be honest. That's the first Michigan game I haven't watched in probably 20 years.
Well, I mean, work does that. I've missed Brown games from working before. So.
That's just how life is.
And for me, even though Penn State lost to Ohio State,
I did get to watch that, ironically enough.
I'm not actually like coming in here like, oh, we lost, because it's like, I thought, because based off of what we did against Illinois, I'm like, we're probably gonna lose by like 30 or something.
Yeah.
And to only lose 33-24 and hang in there for a majority of the game, and a couple of plays go our way.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
overall, you can say it was a good game.
It was a much better game than most people expected it to be. I'll say that.
Even though we lost, I still thoroughly enjoyed it.
I thought Penn State played a lot better than I thought that they've played previously. I thought that's one of the best games Penn State's played all year, to be honest.
All right, so we gotta go into commercial land, but when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit of hockey, and we got the Kramer quiz.
As Bruce Wayne once said,
a hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a little boy's shoulder to let him know that he isn't alone in the world.
Do you feel that with great power comes great responsibility? Are you interested in changing kids' lives by giving them hope? Then perhaps you should consider being a hero. Superheroes to Kids in Ohio continues to make costume visits to children's hospitals, special needs centers, and various charitable events whenever they are needed, all in an attempt to bring a few smiles to kids and people in need of hope. You can find out more at superheroestokidsinOhio.com.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take this time to breathe deeply and close your eyes. Right now, you're completely in control. Unlike the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk, or when you tried removing those raccoons from the basement. Concentrate on the soothing sound of my voice. Release the memory of when you wrestled with that beehive in your son's treehouse. Let go of the time you thought that skunk was a cat, or when you pulled into the garage with your son's bike on top of the car. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety Campaign.
So, what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland? Trying to stump James for over 6 months and failing. But hope springs eternal. It's Kramer quiz time.
Welcome back into the JTO as...
I don't know what the heck the JTO is or whatever that was, but welcome back to So What's the Catch here. And before we get to the Kramer quiz, we're just going to do some quick hockey updates, starting with your Cleveland Monsters!
All right, well, it's Monsters talk, so you know that you're going to have to lead this discussion because nobody else watches them.
That is no problem. Hey, I'm a partial season ticket holder.
That's good. That's why we're here. We want your perspective on them.
You are bankrolling the Cleveland Monsters right now.
For real. Yeah.
You are paying the payroll.
You might be a minority stakeholder.
But anyways.
Yeah.
So right now they are second in the North Division. They are 4-1-1-2. They have 11 points. Their next games will be Friday and Saturday against the Belleville Senators, affiliate of the Ottawa Senators.
Who could have guessed it?
All right, and now for the Metropolitan Division.
Yes. It's early, so you know, sometimes talking about rankings this early in the year, it's a little frustrating for me. But, you know, I was willing to talk about the Penguins when they were at the top of the division early, so I got to be willing to talk about them now that they're at the bottom. Things have changed rather quickly for the Penguins. You know, they got off to a really hot start, but their last couple games, things have slowed down for them. And, yeah, we've still got a lot of guys that are out with injuries. But, yeah, we are now in dead last in the Metropolitan Division with 8 points. But still got... That's the beauty of hockey. We got 74 more games, so plenty of time.
Meanwhile, the Columbus Blue Jackets, as of right now, they are 5th in the Metro. They are 5-3-0. They have 10 points. Their next game is tonight in Colorado. But right now, the Blue Jackets are 3rd in the wild card, which before the season, I would not have pegged them to be anywhere near the wild card.
No, and to reinforce my point about it being early, look at who's number 7 in the Met. It's the New York Islanders. And if I'm not mistaken, a couple people on the show picked the Islanders to win the division.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're one of the favorites to make the Stanley Cup this year from that division. So things are going to look different by the end of the year is all I'm saying. I don't think that this is going to hold up. But, yeah, it's important to note that some teams are having some early success that we thought maybe weren't going to be that great.
And Churk and Kramer, you guys both picked Arizona to win the Central Division.
Go Arizona.
They are in...
hockey, but go Arizona.
They are in dead last in the Central Division.
For now.
They are
now.
They are 0-0, 9-1.
They're the only team in the NHL without a win yet.
Yeah,
for now.
Hockey
these guys, they're sleeping giants. I'm telling you, they're gonna lose like the next 4 games. I'm telling you this. I'm predicting this. They're gonna lose the next 4 games, but then they're not gonna lose another game.
I love it. I love it.
Before
we get this hockey to play.
It's expensive. It's very expensive.
So before we get to Kramer quiz, I actually have a couple trivia questions for you.
Oh, so we got the Unger quiz.
This is just 5 questions, so it's not going to be as long as as Kramer's.
Well, let's get them off. Hurry up.
All right. So here we go. Let me just pull them up here. What is the diameter of a basketball hoop in inches?
Oh,
no idea.
What? Let's say 24.
You're close. What you got, Churk?
26.
Answer is 18.
Oh, so I win. Point for me.
Yes, because you were closest. How many dimples does an average golf ball have?
136.
Oh, you were so close.
139.
No. What's your guess, Churk? How many dimples does an average golf ball have?
50.
The answer is 336.
Oh.
So you were off by one number.
That's weird, yeah.
All right. What's the national sport of Canada?
Hockey.
Nope.
Curling.
Nope.
Damn it.
Lacrosse.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is that recent, or was that like 100 years ago?
I don't know. I don't know.
So we're awaiting confirmation on that, but as of right now, we believe it's lacrosse.
What?
I would never have guessed that. Is that because it was a Native American sport and...
There are a lot of Native history up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Native tribes up there,
All
so
right.
I'm sure that's probably why.
What is the only team in the NFL to neither host nor play in the Super Bowl?
Cleveland.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It is Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's an easy
I
one.
think we all knew that one, but
And then last question.
good
Who
job,
was
Churk.
Who was the first team to win a championship in the American Professional Football Association?
Cleveland.
Nope.
Dang it.
It's a city close to Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
What'd you say?
Canton.
No and no. It was the Akron Pros. In 1920, they finished with a record of 8-0-3. They had 3 ties.
What the heck?
And those are my trivia questions.
Thank you, Josh. That was fun. A little different than the typical Kramer quiz.
Maybe I'll try and bring in some of those questions every week.
Cool.
All right, you got any quiz questions?
Yeah, now that he stole your segment, do you want to do it?
Yeah, what is up with that? You just like literally jacked my
Just copied
segment.
every little bit of it.
But
that's
anyways, getting back to the real Kramer quiz.
Hey, I'm not allowed to have some fun?
okay.
No fun.
No more.
Who was
no
the
fun.
first player in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards in just one season?
Can you give me an era?
The football era.
Say the 70s.
It was in the 1900s.
It's not good. Joe Montana.
You got the first name right.
Joe Namath.
You are correct.
Joe Namath. Sorry.
Joe Namath.
Too late.
I'm about to make a statement with a few different facts in it. One of these facts is wrong. Let's see if anybody can pick it out. After graduating from Syracuse, Jim Brown went on to play 9 seasons in the NFL. Despite his dominance, he only led the league in rushing 5 times during his career, but he did win a championship with the Cleveland Browns in 1964.
Well, we know the Browns won a title in 1964.
Right.
He's the 9 seasons.
Yeah, he had more than 9 seasons.
Yeah.
No. He only played 9 seasons.
He only led the league 4 times, would have been it.
It was, yes. He actually led the league in rushing 8 times.
I was going to say, that didn't sound big enough
Yeah.
to me. So 8 out of his 9 years, he led the league in rushing. So
Yes,
yeah, he was a
sir.
beast. An absolute monster.
What team went undefeated in 2008?
New England Patriots.
Nope.
No, it was 2008. Is that?
You said undefeated?
Undefeated.
In the NFL.
In the NFL.
It was not a team undefeated.
Yeah, I thought the New England Patriots was the only one.
2008, there was a team that went undefeated.
It was not.
Oh, wait. Is this a trick question?
Was it
The
Arizona?
Lions.
No.
No.
The Lions went winless.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I asked the question wrong. I screwed up.
Oh.
It was, okay, the last team in 2008 to end the season undefeated, okay? So they lost a game, but who was the last one that had an undefeated record?
Oh.
The Patriots.
It's a weird question. I just realized how...
I'm going to go with Arizona.
It was actually the Titans, but it's really weird how they asked it. And then I just realized with their answer, because they say the Titans lasted all the way to week 12, so they were just asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
I gotcha.
All right.
It's a strange question.
That's all right.
We'll throw that one out.
Who was this former Green Bay Packer offensive tackle who later took the Bengals as a head coach to the Super Bowl?
Ooh. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Paul Brown.
Forrest Gregg.
Four?
8-time Pro Bowler with the Packers in the 60s. He coached the Browns for 3 seasons, and then went over to the Bengals in 1980, and in 81 took him to the bowl.
Is that the guy who said we're not in Cleveland or whatever?
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll go with
No, I think that was a different guy. He says we're in Cincinnati, not in Cleveland.
All right.
Cool.
Yay? I don't know.
Which of these players, when he scored a touchdown in a Super Bowl, was the oldest player to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl? Was it Bob Mackey, Willie Brown, John Elway, or Boyd Dowler?
John Elway.
It was, of course, John Elway.
John Elway.
Was that touchdown when he had the helicopter play?
Yep.
I'm not sure, but he was 38
Sprint
years
right
old.
option.
Yep, sprint right option. That was the play against the Green Bay Packers.
Yep. Look at me knowing stuff.
Look at me knowing that even though I was not born.
Ah, yeah.
Or
True.
either I was not born for that Super Bowl or I was really little.
Yeah.
What Super Bowl or what souvenir did New York Giant linebacker Lawrence Taylor request from a referee after he played his last game?
His whistle.
No.
A shoe.
No. We saw a lot of them on Sunday.
The flag. I was gonna say flag, but I already
He
said
asked for the flag.
so.
The flag that he had thrown on him earlier in the game, actually.
It wasn't a needle?
Nope.
I don't know why. I just thought he would want his shoe.
For the steroid? No.
Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver Tyrone Prothro, that's an awesome name.
That is a really good name.
Caught an amazing touchdown catch in a 2005 game over the head of a defender from what school?
Auburn.
No. That is
Tennessee.
An awesome name for a wide receiver.
The University of Florida.
No, it was Southern Miss.
SMU.
Southern Miss.
Old SMU. They always sneak in this quiz somehow.
I don't think Southern Miss is SMU. I think they're 2 different schools.
Oh, SMU's Southern Methodist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know the Patriots have made it into a ton of Super Bowls, but who was the quarterback that led them to their first?
Drew Bledsoe.
No.
That what?
The first Patriots quarterback who led them to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It wasn't Drew Bledsoe?
It was not Drew Bledsoe. It was 1985. That's not the question.
Darn, that's... Why... I forgot about 85.
No guesses?
No.
Tony Eason.
Old Tony Eason.
Old Tony Eason. I totally know him.
Right.
This player was in his rookie year and seemed to forget that in the NFL, if you catch the ball and are not touched, you cannot spike the ball, especially on the field of play. Which player that was seemingly very proud of himself spiked the ball that resulted in a lost fumble?
Ooh. What year was it, did it say?
I don't believe it said. No.
Rob Gronkowski?
No. It's somebody who it's typical for, though.
Okay.
Oh.
Typical?
Kellen Winslow.
No, good guess. No.
Taco Fall.
Anthony Gonzalez.
Plaxico Burress.
That's such a Plaxico move. That is a Plaxico move.
Just like when he
shot himself in the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that was him, right?
Yep.
He shot himself in the freaking foot.
Ugh.
Or in the leg. One of the two.
Yeah, that was bad. Is that the whole quiz?
No.
Did anyone win? I don't think anyone got a single one right yet.
No, I got a Joe Namath right.
Yeah, Josh
and Churk got one right, too.
Yeah, it's a 1-1 tie.
Or it might be 2-1. I have no idea.
In what year did the NFL-AFL merger take place?
1967.
No.
69.
No. No.
71.
No, you all jumped right around. It was 1970.
Well, shucks.
I'm going to find one
man.
more. One more. This one, I'm just going to go with it because it involves the Browns. Okay. 1985 was a strange season for the Cleveland Browns. Unsure of their rookie quarterback by the name of Bernie Kosar, the Browns ran a lot in the season. They already had one 1,000-yard running back in that season. Then the other squeezed through to pass the 1,000-yard mark on the final play. Who was the team's second 1,000-yard rusher?
Biner.
Yes, Ernest Biner.
Yep. All right. So it's 1-1 now.
Yes, sir.
So we need a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I guess we do need a
We got to do one more. We've got 2 more minutes left.
21. What center signed with the Cavs?
You're tied with the rest of us. So.
Yeah, you can't ask questions. Who was the? I need to find one of you guys.
The answer to that is Taco Fall. Yay, I win. No, not actually.
That was the answer, though. 100%.
Or it could have been Jared Allen because he signed an extension.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's Evan Mobley.
Who set the single-season sack record in 2002?
Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan.
Churk.
Darn.
Churk takes the W.
All right.
Churk, you got it out before me. Well done, man.
You know
Well
Strahan too?
Yeah, I knew it was Strahan.
Oh, he said it.
out.
Yeah,
I knew
seconds
it.
after you.
I knew it was Strahan. I don't always have the quickest.
Yeah, it's about quickness. You gotta be quick.
Because Brett Favre let him sack him to make the record.
Yeah.
So it's been real.
Let him touch.
Yeah, he let him sack
Yeah,
him.
we enjoyed this episode.
It's been real. It's been fun, but it has not been real fun.
Nah, can't say that.
Congrats again to the Atlanta Braves on your first World Series title since 1995.
And James, if by chance, which I don't think you did, but if you're listening, James, I hope you had a great vacation. We look forward to seeing you next week, buddy.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Oh, Churk.
James.
Do you have a Berserker of the Week before we go?
Yeah,
Yes.
Berserker of the Week. Who is it?
Berserker of the Week.
Taco Fall
The Berserker of the Week
is
Dearness Johnson.
Woo! Would you like to say a couple words on his behalf?
Yes, I would say it's good to know we have a running back that can ball out.
Let him run more.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, and he's younger than both of them.
Feed him. Feed the bear. He's
him.
hungry.
All right.
Let's go hunt the Bengals.
So we will be back next week talking about whatever happens.
Yep.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
See ya.
Bye.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of So What's the Catch? Join us next week for more hot takes and very interesting conversation, to say the least. So yeah, follow us on our social media platforms, and yeah, go Brownies.
Back here to Byers Field as the Elyria Catholic Panthers are leading the Parma Redmen 28-7. Mac, what did you see?